Thank you very much, Dr. Chadha, for sharing that. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our later discussion as well. Now, moving the focus on to Europe, at least 7 people were injured when Russian drones hit an apartment block in Okhtyrka, a city in northeastern Ukraine's Sumy region. Governor Ole Hirhorov has said that 2 of the injured were hospitalized while the others received treatment and were discharged. The multi-story building suffered heavy damage, but some residents reached the basement after air raid warnings. Emergency crews have rescued others from upper floors. The Sumy region, which borders Russia, has faced near daily shelling and drone attacks since Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine began in 2022. Both sides deny targeting civilians, though thousands have passed away. Moscow has not commented on this latest attack so far. Now for this discussion, we welcome Professor Vasilin Popelsky. He's a professor and vice dean at Jindal Global Law School, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Professor, for joining us again. Good to see you. Now, looking at this fresh escalation, particularly in this Sumy region, can you tell us, do all the apartment buildings in that region have bunkers or bunkers in the basement for hiding, such as, what we know of the apartments that contain bunkers in Israel?
Well, I wouldn't call this bunkers, but they have an underground space where people go and spend an hour or two, depending on how long the alarms will go on. And once there is a clearance that the attacks have been gone down, and we see this daily. I speak to people in Ukraine, and they expect this almost daily, to have a siren and to be asked to vacate their apartment and to go down into the basement. Sometimes they tell me they don't do that, simply because it's so regular and so often that sometimes they simply don't have the time to evacuate and simply hope that their building will not be hit. And for that matter, exactly, we have incidents like the one yesterday, when people who are not evacuated suffered injuries. Yes, one of those days when we again and again hear the same thing. Russia is not cooperating with any peace deal, with any ceasefire. They keep bombing cities, and these are civilian targets. They are prohibited under international humanitarian law. Russia is only fighting civilians. They have no advance on the battlefield. They cannot achieve what their goals are, and that's why they hope for Donald Trump to bring them what they cannot achieve with military means. So that's the simple picture here. We will continue, unfortunately, to hear about civilian targets being hit, because that's the only thing Russia can do. They can injure some civilians, they can cut the electricity in some city for some hours, and if that is what Russia wants, that's really ridiculous. It's not a war fighting, it's simply disrupting the lives of civilians, specifically in the winter time now. It's very frustrating to have electricity cuts, to have sirens, drones, and so on.
Yes, this is amazing that Ukrainian people are so resilient, and thank you for enlightening us with that insight. Now, looking at U.S. statements from Trump, we heard that he has already sent a proposal to Ukraine, but he accuses Ukraine, or rather Zelensky, that he hasn't seen the proposal or reviewed the proposals yet. Now, how do you think, how aligned are these two countries, in your opinion?
Doing Ukraine and United States?
Yes.
Well, Ukraine is hoping for negotiations. They're always open. They always say, we want to cease the fire. We don't want to fight. But for that matter, we need some just proposals, something that really not award the aggressor with extra territory to start with, which is, again, very ridiculous. It's as if a robber comes to my apartment, takes 80% of my furniture, and then want the other 20% of the furniture to be signed in a treaty that I donate to the robbed my furniture. It's exactly the same. Russia is taking territories and they demand more territories as a reward for the aggression they already did. Instead of paying the cost of that, they want more rewards. And any proposal which somehow the incompetent Donald Trump administration tries to achieve here is no go, because nobody in the world will accept that, not only the Europeans. Every reasonable person in the world will smile at those proposals that Svitkov and Kushner are making, because this is not the way to do that. This is not a business transaction. It's not between a seller or buyer of a land and you need to reach the middle price, nothing like that. But these people are real estate agents like Witkoff and Trump. That's how they understand the world, like a business transaction where we need to find the middle ground between the two parties. No, not at all. This is nothing to do with the international relations, with the international law, with the UN Charter. And they make proposals that are unacceptable. And even Russia doesn't accept when somehow the Europeans and Ukrainians try to revise those proposals. No chance for peace. What United States should do is more sanctions on Russia and more support for Ukraine, including military support. And only when Putin is in the corner under pressure of US sanctions and a very firm talk that if he doesn't stop fire, nobody will trade with him anymore, nobody will talk with him anymore. So only such language will be understood in the Kremlin. And this is when, hopefully one day, we will have a chance for peace. The peace will come through very heavy sanctions on Russia and a very hard talk on Vladimir Putin.
Yes. With that, I would like to thank Professor Vasilin Popovsky for always joining us and giving that insight and laying there out for us to understand it in a simple manner. Thank you very much. Now we move the focus on to Japan and China.